Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is benenon, and for today's video we're going to be talking about the new Native sunscreen. Now, I didn't even realize that Native had things other than deodorant. I didn't even realize that they carried other products until one of you recommended this sunscreen, and then I went and did a little bit of research, and turns out they actually carry sunscreens, bar soaps, toothpaste, body washes, and deodorants. Like, who knew? So they carry both face and body sunscreens. Their body one comes in 3 scents. It's a coconut, pineapple, an unscented, and then a rose smelling sunscreen. And then their face sunscreens just come in coconut and pineapple and then unscented. As you guys know, I prefer sunscreens that are unscented. I don't mind fragrance in products in general, but I feel like for a sunscreen, a product that's gonna be staying on my face all day, I just prefer it to not be scented at all. But for today, we're just gonna be talking about the sunscreen, and the one that I specifically tried out was the Native Mineral Face Lotion. This is the unscented version in SPF 30. It is a physical / mineral sunscreen with a broad spectrum SPF 30. The active ingredient in here is 20% zinc oxide, and they have a few other ingredients in here. If you go to their site, it's pretty comprehensive. Like, they list the ingredients, and then they also list like what is the purpose of that ingredient, which I think is pretty cool, especially for consumers who don't know a lot about like the chemicals that go into sunscreens or like the added ingredients and stuff. This is a super helpful site. So if you are interested in some of the other ingredients in here, I would encourage you to go and check out their website that lists all of the ingredients. You can pick this up on the Native website. For a one-time purchase, it is $16, which I think is pretty good because you get 1.7 fluid ounces. I would consider that to be pretty affordable as far as mineral sunscreens go. And then if you subscribe, you save 13%, and it ends up being $14. These sunscreens are only available for US shipping, so if you are watching this video and you live outside of the US, I'm sorry, it's not gonna be available for shipment to your country. Let's get into the sunscreen. First of all, I want to talk about the packaging. It's a pretty simple white packaging, very clear writing. I actually like this pump. Sometimes I have a hard time with sunscreen and their pumps. They just, I don't know who the heck is designing these, but I feel like they just don't work. But this pump, I haven't had any issues with it. It's just a white formula. This is not tinted or anything. When I tested it out on my hand, it did rub in pretty easily. As far as the texture of this one, it's pretty much like a normal sunscreen. It's not too liquidy, not too like thick, and it rubs in pretty quickly and it dries down very fast. So this is one of those very lightweight type of sunscreens. I didn't really feel like I had it on my face at all. I didn't feel like anything. So day one of trying this out, I just put it on my normal morning skincare. So for me, it's pretty simple. It's just my acne treatment and then my face lotion, and that's it. And then I put my sunscreen over it. So I followed the 2-finger method, and I applied that to my face and my neck and my ears. And as you can see, it's actually rubbing in pretty quickly. I mean, some sunscreens you really gotta like work it for a while for it to blend in, but this one I felt like dried down very quickly. It blended very quickly as well over my normal skincare. As you can see, in like my bathroom lighting, there's really no white cast. If you look in like my hairline, you can see it's like a very slight white cast. I waited the 15 minutes, and after coming back from 15 minutes of wearing it, you can see it blended in like basically seamlessly. I'm not seeing really any white cast looking back at the footage as far as what it looked like in my bathroom lighting. When I went outside and I took a picture in natural lighting, you could see a very slight white cast, kind of more so on my forehead and where you can kind of see my peach fuzz. But overall, this turned out like really well. I didn't feel like the white cast was extreme. You really had to look to see it. But after wearing it for 2 hours, as you can see, I do look a little bit greasy. I mean, I always look greasy, but I think that was more so because of my regular oils and I was outside in the humidity versus the sunscreen causing the oiliness. So I blotted my face and then I reapplied with 2 fingers again after the 2 hours. So with the reapplication, I noticed that there was a little bit of a white cast this time, which I think is kind of common with mineral sunscreens with reapplying it. It wasn't anything crazy, but I could definitely see more of the white cast with reapplication than I did with the initial application. After wearing it with that reapplication, I looked very greasy, even more so than the first time. So day one, I would say overall it wore okay, but the reapplication wasn't my favorite. So I went back in on day two and I did it without any moisturizer. So I did my acne treatment in the morning and then I went straight to the sunscreen. I don't think this is how you should wear this sunscreen because it's not a very moisturizing sunscreen, so you definitely do need the moisturizer even if you have oily skin. And I just noticed that when I was applying it the first time without the moisturizer, it felt very dry, like very dry, and it was almost like the sunscreen just wasn't blending in as seamlessly as it did on. It just looks dry and ghostly, and I just wasn't a fan of how the texture was or how it ended up looking. Also, as I wore it, after the 2 hours, I came back and I noticed that I had some pilling going on. I went ahead and reapplied it after the 2 hours, even with the pilling, and I tried to rub it in, and as you can see, it's just doing that same thing where it just wasn't spreading out very easily, and I felt like I had to do a lot of work to get it to spread over my face without the moisturizer. There was a definite white cast with the reapplication with this one. And then on the last day, I decided to wear it with makeup. So as you can see in the clip, the makeup went on fine. I didn't feel like it was too heavy underneath or too dry or anything for me to apply my makeup easily. My only thing is, after wearing it for a couple hours, I started to notice that I was getting very dry around my mouth area, but then also like greasy around my T-zone. It was very weird and I didn't like how it looked. Also, I found that my makeup was like pilling almost. I will try to insert like a close-up, but you could see like little flakes of the makeup coming off. Not sure what was going on with that, but I would say that this is not really the best sunscreen to wear underneath makeup. Today I'm wearing it, and today was the day where I moisturized and then I put the sunscreen over it, and I'm not having that issue as much. So I think it's really only when you wear the sunscreen without the moisturizer and then you put makeup on top of it, maybe it kind of like dries up a little bit, but when you wear it with moisturizer, sunscreen, and then makeup, it wears okay. So I would say overall it wasn't my favorite, but it did look fine with the moisturizer underneath like it does today. Also, lastly, I wanted to talk about how it did with my acne, because I am someone who has acne and some sunscreens tend to inflame it and make it worse, and some don't really affect it at all. And I would say that this sunscreen didn't really affect it much. I felt like it didn't clog my pores or anything. I was able to get it off by double cleansing. If you are someone that does not double cleanse and you just use a face wash to take off sunscreen, you might have a little bit of trouble with this one, because you definitely need to double cleanse to get it off. So my overall thoughts, I'm having a hard time deciding if I want to recommend this to you guys, only because I feel like I had very different experiences with this sunscreen on day one versus day two. Day one, I really love this sunscreen. I love the way it wore. I love that the white cast, it was slightly there, but it was like basically not there at all. And I love that it wasn't heavy, it wasn't cakey. It went on very easily, rubbed in nicely, and dried down pretty quickly. But on day two, I pretty much hated this sunscreen. It pilled up. I felt like it didn't go on as smoothly. There was a white cast, and overall I just didn't like the look or the feel of it. I think I'll say that if you are someone who has oily, acne prone skin and you're looking for a mineral sunscreen that isn't going to be too greasy or too heavy, I would recommend this sunscreen. The only thing is, make sure you wear your moisturizer underneath, because you might have the same issue that I had. Also, if you like mineral sunscreens and you're looking for a cruelty-free option, this is definitely a pretty decent one. I feel like if you are on the drier side, you might have more of those like pilling issues that I was having. So again, moisturizer nicely underneath. But then lastly, I don't think I would recommend this for the reapplication. It's definitely a good like first one-time application type sunscreen, but the reapplication just didn't go on as nicely as I would like. So those are my thoughts. Torn between this one. I don't hate it, but I don't think I love it. You know what I mean? If you end up trying Native, let me know. And if you have any other sunscreen recommendations, don't forget to leave them down in the comment sections below. But yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye!